Let's bring in the man himself, Phil Rosen, for what I believe is the first time here in 2026.
Yes, first time of the year. Good to be back.
Dude, we brought you the New York Knicks because it's such a special occasion. Thanks for being here as always.
Thank you for having me.
We're not very far off all-time highs. Kind of a choppy, volatile week. Lots of Fed news, maybe moving bond instruments. You got a lot to choose from. What is top of mind for a wild week on Wall Street?
The thing I was watching this week were the chip stocks. TSM had a great result in their earnings, and I think the whole chip sector took note. They all rallied, and we had a Taiwan-US trade deal, and that's also very bullish for chips, in my opinion. I think it's going to be fantastic for AI continuing to this year, and the chip stocks in particular. Micron's up like 300% from a year ago. I think that's going to continue. This is a very big year ahead.
What do you see in the world of geopolitics? Could be military intervention in Venezuela, kind of conflicts in the Middle East with U.S. and Iran. You got the Greenland question now, and maybe strife between the United States and NATO. There's a lot for investors to keep up with these days.
This is a crazy start to the year geopolitically, and yet markets are up. Markets do not care that the geopolitical world is going haywire. Greenland, Iran, Venezuela, these are all major catalysts, but right now investors have pretty much shrugged it off. We're pushing stocks higher, asset prices keep going up, and I think there are a couple ways to look at it. You could say markets are ignoring it all and they just don't care, or you could take another tact, which is markets see it all and they actually do care, but the earnings story is so good that they're just paying attention to earnings instead, and that's going to keep asset prices higher.
Talk to me about the disconnect between hiring and the economy. Jobs data, we did get a fair bit of it, and it's one of those key pieces of information we're going to pay a lot of attention to in the weeks and months ahead.
The job story is incredible to me because jobs are slowing down. I think 2025 was one of the worst hiring years we've had in a non-recession year in decades. Okay, so that was the picture, and yet we had very strong economic growth. You could arguably say we're in an economic boom. I think Atlanta Fed sees 5% GDP for the last quarter of the year. And all that, and yet people can't find jobs. There's this K-shaped economy we keep talking about where it's just hard to keep a job, find a job, and that makes a lot of people nervous. And yet the economic productivity is increasing. I think productivity was up 5% last quarter as well. So that's a huge tension that I'm going to be watching for the coming months, because we have almost like a jobless growth happening, which is very unusual. I think AI is a part of that. We'll see just how much it matters.
You talked about the semis. How durable, how strong is the overall AI trade right now? We had a lot of questions throughout the fourth quarter of 2025, how strong the AI trade was. And we kind of go day by day. Some days the concerned narrative takes over, and other days we say, hey, everything's going great.
All the smartest people I'm talking to from these Wall Street banks, these boutique investment shops, independent investors, everyone is very bullish on AI. I think I fall into that camp. I'm very optimistic. I don't think we're in a bubble. We're not going to see a bubble popping anytime soon. But the one red flag I feel in my bones, if everyone is on the right side of the trade or on the same side of the trade, something's got to give at some point. So that's what I'll be watching.
Yeah, what do they say? Be fearful when others are bullish. Be optimistic when others are fearful, etc. It's an old Warren Buffettism. Before I let you go, Bitcoin as the catch-up trade. I mean, it was a wild story for the crypto majors in 25. How is the stage set for 2026 right now?
Bitcoin was down about 5 to 7% in 2025. I think it disappointed a lot of people. But if you zoom out, it was the third negative year in a decade. That's pretty good as far as asset prices go. And if you go back, instead of 12 months, you go to 14 months, Bitcoin's actually up about 40%. So it's an incredible performing asset still, but the psychological effect of having a negative calendar year, I think there's going to be a big catch up in 2026. Who knows whether that's 20%, 30%, 50%. I'm not going to call that, but I do think we're seeing gains in Bitcoin this year.
All right, the great Phil Rosen. Hey, you got the great Amari Stoudemire right over your shoulder here, dude. Thanks for being here. Great to have you as always. We'll have you back very soon.